The hour of convening having arrived, all members of the House will please report to the floor of the House and take your seats. All members of the House will report to the floor. The clerk will ring the bell. All members will report to the floor of the House. We are going to have the morning roll call. All members present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and the clerk will unlock the machines. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, the clerk will lock the machines. Doorkeepers will please close the doors and keep them closed. Good morning. I hope everyone is well this morning. We are going to begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by the chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of this country. Our chaplain this morning will be introduced by the gentleman from the 101st House District, Representative Sam Park. Representative Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. It is my honor to introduce to you today Reverend Beyeongcheol Han as today's pastor of the day. Reverend Han has been the senior pastor at the Korean Central Presbyterian Church of Atlanta for over 9 years. Before he was called to be a minister, he was a human rights activist in South Korea. He attended Yonsei University, one of the most prestigious colleges in Korea, before immigrating to the United States in 2002 to attend McCormick Theological Seminary in Chicago, Illinois. Today, he lives in Peachtree Corners with his wife. His daughter will be graduating from Emory's Business School this May, and his son will be graduating from the University of Georgia. Without further ado, Reverend Han.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for inviting me as the chaplain of the day, and Representative Sam Park for your kind words of introduction. I also would like to express my deep gratitude to the members of the Georgia House of Representatives for making this special day for Korean Americans possible. When I was asked several weeks ago to come and preach today, I just said yes without hesitation, because saying yes is my philosophy of life. Let me tell you how this came to be. I came to this country in the summer of 2002 for my master's program at McCormick Theological Seminary in Chicago. Not long after my first semester started, I was asked to preach for the community service led by the students. I was stunned, but I couldn't say no because I was so afraid to speak English at the time. What an irony. I had preached in English because I couldn't speak English confidently enough to say no. Yet, it turned out to be enormous blessings in many ways for me. For that sermon, I became the recipient of the preaching award with a $2,000 scholarship. I also got a call from a church in Indiana because the president of the seminary strongly recommended me to the position after listening to my sermon. That's how I ended up becoming a minister in this country, and I'm standing here today to preach in English once again with great expectation. Here is the thing. When you are asked to do something, please do not say no. Just say yes. And I guarantee that you will experience tremendous blessings beyond your imagination. I have another story. I used to live in downtown Seoul, South Korea, before I came to this country at age 40. Since my neighborhood was in the middle of many tourist destinations, I sometimes saw tourists holding a map and looking around. I could tell that they were lost. Whenever I saw those foreigners, I approached them and asked, "May I help you?" It was one of the few English sentences that I could say fluently at the time. But soon after, I realized that my English wasn't good enough to help them to get there. I did not give up, though. Instead, I told them, "Follow me." Sometimes it took me 30 minutes or more to walk them to where they wanted to go. But I boldly say, "Follow me." I was able to help many people with my limited English. "May I help you?" "Follow me." Those two simple sentences were enough. Every one of you in this room, as public servants, may have felt that you didn't have enough resources or the power to help people and community. But I believe that it's not about the money, time, or resources. What you need is just caring heart. In the late 19th and early 20th century, Korea was one of the poorest countries in the world. During those years, many American missionaries came to my country bringing the good news of Jesus Christ. They came to a country they had never been to from halfway around the world and helped people they had never met before. Enduring language barriers, cultural differences, and poor living conditions, they tried hard to teach Korean people faith, hope, and love. In 1950, the Korean War broke out, and many young, brave men and women in uniform from United States came to my country to save my country and to save freedom. The war ravaged everything. When the war ended in 1953, there was nothing left but freedom, thanks to the brave soldiers who sacrificed their lives. With that freedom, the Korean people were able to rebuild our country from the ashes. Now, South Korea has become the world's 12th largest economy. South Korea is one of the few countries in the world that produce automobiles and is number one in shipbuilding and a front runner in cutting-edge industries. South Korea is the only country that has been turned from from a foreign aid recipient into a donor country. South Korea is also the second largest missionary sending country in the world after the US. American missionaries just said yes to God's call, and American men and women in uniform said yes to their country's call to protect peace and freedom. Had they not chosen to answer the call, had they not said yes, I would not be standing here today, nor standing where I stand every day. I know that, and I honor that. Hospitality and kindness. Those two words, I believe, represent the American spirit. I have met many Americans who have this spirit since I came to this country, and I'm very grateful for that. The 133rd Psalm says, "How good and pleasant it is when brothers and sisters live together in unity. For there the Lord bestows his blessing, even life forevermore." I'm here today as a proud Korean American and proud Georgian to encourage you to say yes. Don't be discouraged by the lack of resources. You can make a big difference in your community and in this society with hospitality and kindness. When we stay encouraged and our hope rises, we find ourselves with greater humility to listen to one another, greater ability to love, to find unity within our diversity. So I want to encourage you all here today to stay encouraged as leaders. May your faith deepen, your love grow, and hope is raised in your lives, because in your leadership, it will be your gift to the people of our state. Will you join me in prayer? Lord, today we offer prayers for all who exercise leadership around us. I want to lift up our state representatives and leaders who make decisions about everything from the school system to the water system in our communities. God, grant your grace so that they might make wise decisions in matters that will have an impact on the education of the children of our community, in matters that will have an impact on our environment, in matters that will have an impact on our safety, in matters that will have an impact on how we live with and relate to one another. Give us wisdom and courage to find the common ground and be in unity with one another, no matter the differences we have. Help us to stay encouraged as leaders so that we may be extensions of grace, mercy, and hope to those we serve and those we lead. We pray these things in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Doorkeepers will unlock the doors. Chair recognizes Chairman Darlene Taylor, the Chair of the Committee on Information and Audits.
Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Information and Audits have read the proceedings of the previous legislative day and found them to be correct.
Chairman Taylor, the Chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? The Chair hears none, and the journal is confirmed. The clerk will read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day.
Mr. Burns, on the 59th, moves following be established as the order of business in the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of Senate bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? The Chair hears none, and the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 235 by Representative Williams, the 148th, Benton, the 31st, Gilliard, and the 162nd, Hogan, and the 179th, Blackman, and the 146th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 3, Chapter 7, Title 47 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to membership in the Georgia Firefighters Pension Fund.
Retirement.
House Bill 236 by Representative Bruce, the 61st, Bazemore, 63rd, McLeod of the 105th, Jackson of the 64th, Trammell, the 132nd, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 11 of Title 31 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to emergency medical services.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 237 by Representative Hughley of the 136th, Benton of the 94th, Kendrick of the 93rd. Bill be titled an act to amend Code Section 4286 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to special license plates.
Motor Vehicles.
House Bill 238 by Representative Wilson of the 80th, Beverly of the 143rd, Frye of the 118th, McLaurin of the 51st, Hutchinson of the 107th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Part 5, Article 4, Chapter 11, and Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to Brady Law regulations.
Public Safety and Homeland Security.
House Bill 239 by Representative Estration of the 104th and Fleming of the 121st. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to courts, so as to establish the Georgia Business Court.
Judiciary.
House Bill 240 by Representative Hatchett of the 150th, Pruitt of the 149th, and Mathis of the 144th. A bill being titled an act to amend an act to provide a new charter for the town of East Dublin.
Intergovernmental Coordination.
House Bill 241 by Representative Schofield, the 60th, Bazemore, the 63rd, Smiley, 135th, Gardner, the 57th, Buckner, 137th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 8 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to buildings and housing.
Natural Resources and Environment.
House Bill 242 by Representative Hawkins, the 27th, Mathiak, the 73rd, Benton, the 94th, Powell, the 32nd, Gardner, the 57th. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to professions and businesses.
Regulated Industries.
House Bill 243 by Representative Hawkins, the 27th, Parsons, the 44th, Stevens, the 164th, Donahue, the 30th, Pruitt of the 149th. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 46 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to public utilities and public transportation.
Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications.
House Bill 244 by Representative Stevens, the 164th, Harrell, the 106th, Myrie, 135th, Parsons, the 44th, Hatchett, the 150th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Part 2 of Article 6 of Chapter 3 of Title 46 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to corporate purposes.
Economic Development and Tourism.
House Bill 245 by Representative Buckner, the 137th, Richard, the 97th, Green, and the 151st. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 471780 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated, relating to retirement benefit options.
Retirement.
House Bill 246 by Representative Cheokas, the 52nd, Cooper the 43rd, Kelly the 16th, Extradition of the 104th, Rich the 97th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Article 6 of Chapter 13 to Title 24 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to depositions to preserve testimony.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 247 by Representative Cheokas, the 52nd, Cooper the 43rd, Kelly the 16th, and Fleming of the 121st. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 5 of Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to crimes against the person.
Judiciary.
House Bill 248 by Representative Alexander, the 66th, Trammell, the 132nd, Oliver, the 82nd, Shannon, the 84th, Wenner, the 89th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to elections and primaries generally.
Governmental affairs.
House Bill 249 by Representative Alexander, the 66th, Trammell, the 132nd, Oliver, the 82nd, Shannon, the 84th, and Wenner, the 89th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to primaries and elections generally.
Governmental affairs.
House Bill 250 by Representatives Alexander, the 66th, Trammell, the 132nd, Oliver, the 82nd, Shannon, the 84th, Wenner, the 89th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to primaries and elections generally.
Governmental affairs.
House Bill 251 by Representative Alexander, the 66th, Trammell, the 132nd, Oliver, the 82nd, Shannon, the 84th, Wenner, the 89th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to primaries and elections generally.
Governmental affairs.
House Bill 252 by Representative Alexander, the 66th, Trammell, the 132nd, Oliver, the 82nd, Shannon, the 84th, Wenner, the 89th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to primaries and elections generally.
Governmental affairs.
House Bill 253 by Representative Hawkins, the 27th, Benton, the 94th, Mathis, the 73rd, Werkheiser, the 157th, and LaHood, the 175th. Bill being titled an act to amend Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to professions and businesses.
Regulated industries.
House Bill 254 by Representative Rhodes, the 120th, Burns, the 159th, Stevens, the 164th, Fryer, the 118th, Corbett, the 174th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Code Section 48-7-40.26 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to tax credits for film.
Ways and means.
House Bill 255 by Representative Williams, the 145th, Bruce, the 61st, Gullett of the 19th, Bentley of the 139th, Nelson of the 125th, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 2 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to elections and primaries generally.
Governmental affairs.
House Bill 256 by Representative Scoggins of the 14th, Powell of the 171st, Silcox of the 52nd, and Efstration of the 104th. Bill being titled act to amend Article 2 of Chapter 13 and Title 16 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to regulation of controlled substances.
Judiciary non-civil.
House Bill 257 by Representative Scoggins, the 14th, Gamble of the 15th, Silcox the 52nd, Kelly the 16th, Fleming of the 121st, and others. Bill being titled an act to amend Chapter 10 of Title 15 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to magistrate courts.
Judiciary.
House Resolution 182 by Representative Green of the 151st, Lumsden of the 12th, Donahue of the 30th, Werkheiser of the 157th, Clark of the 98th, and others. A resolution authorizing the granting of non-exclusive easements for the construction, operation, and maintenance of facilities.
State properties.
Senate Bill 16 by Senators Kirkpatrick of the 32nd, Hufstetler of the 52nd, Watson of the 1st, Burke of the 11th, Ginn of the 47th, and others. Bill being entitled an act to amend Chapter 34, Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia, annotated relating to physicians, assistants, and others.
Health and Human Services.
That completes first readers.
Second reading of bills and resolutions. The clerk will read.
House Bill 208 by Representative McCall of the 33rd, Nix of the 69th, Trammell of the 132nd, Smith of the 133rd, and Olotz of the 42nd, and others. A bill relating to local government. House Bill 209 by Representative Gamble of the 15th, England of the 116th, Dempsey of the 13th, Blackman of the 146th, Gaines of the 117th. A bill relating to special license plates, promoting and supporting certain worthy agencies, funds, or nonprofit corporations. House Bill 210 by Representative McLeod of the 105th, McLean of the 100th, Bruce of the 61st, Carpenter of the 4th, Walensky of the 79th, and others. A bill relating to elections and primaries. House Bill 211 by Representative McLeod of the 105th, Bruce of the 61st, Shannon of the 84th, Dreyer of the 59th, Paris of the 142nd, and others. A bill relating to elections and primaries. House Bill 212 by Representative Perkle of the 155th, Houston of the 170th, Rhodes of the 120th, Riedauer of the 119th, the Bar of the 103rd. A bill relating to licensing of mortgage lenders and mortgage brokers. House Bill 213 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, McCall of the 33rd, Pruitt of the 149th, Gilliard of the 162nd, and Dickey of the 140th. A bill relating to agriculture. House Bill 214 by Representative Stevens of the 164th. A bill relating to vaccine protocol agreements. House Bill 215 by Representative Anulowicz of the 42nd, Kelly of the 16th, Walensky of the 79th, Stevens of the 164th, and Wynn of the 89th. The bill relating to policies to guide the Department of Natural Resources in creating and administering the Georgia Scenic Trail System and to motor vehicles and traffic. House Bill 216 by Representative Anulowicz of the 42nd, a bill relating to special license plates promoting and supporting certain worthy agencies, funds, nonprofit corporations. House Bill 217 by Representative Gaines of the 117th, Cooper of the 43rd, Newton of the 123rd, Silcox of the 52nd, Dempsey of the 13th, and others. A bill relating to transactions in drug-related objects. House Bill 218 by Representative Williams of the 145th, Jaspers of the 11th, Gamble of the 15th, Holcomb of the 81st, Earhart of the 36th, and others. Bill relating to Hope Scholarships and Grants. House Bill 219 by Representative Smith of the 70th, Knight of the 130th, Watson of the 172nd, Corbett of the 174th, McCall of the 33rd, and others. A bill relating to general provisions regarding ad valorem taxation of property. House Bill 220 by Representative Rogers of the 10th, Laricchia of the 169th, Reeves of the 34th, and Lott of the 122nd. A bill relating to general provisions regarding solid waste management. House Bill 221 by Representative Rogers of the 10th, Laricchia of the 169th, Reeves of the 34th, Lott of the 122nd, Smyrie of the 135th, and others. A bill relating to revenue bonds for the Geo L. Smith II Georgia World Congress Center. Hatchett of the 150th, Cooper of the 43rd, Powell of the 32nd, and others. A bill relating to pharmacies. House Bill 234 by Representative Efstration of the 104th, Ballinger of the 23rd, Smyrie of the 135th, Welch of the 110th, Silcox of the 52nd, and others. A bill relating to civil practice, courts, crimes and offenses, civil criminal procedures, and nuisances. House Resolution 165 by Representative Green of the 151st, Dunhu of the 30th, Perkle of the 155th, Watson of the 172nd, Smith of the 41st, and others. Resolution authorizing the conveyance of certain state-owned real property. House Resolution 166 by Representative Scott of the 76th, Bernal of the 77th, Stovall of the 74th, Schofield of the 60th, Davis of the 87th. Resolution creating the House Study Committee on Veteran Services and Benefits, House Resolution 181 by Representative Fry of the 118th, Kendrick of the 93rd, Smith of the 41st, Douglas of the 78th, Alexander of the 66th, and others. Resolution applying to Congress for a limited national convention for the exclusive purpose of proposing amendments to the Constitution of the United States that will restore balance and integrity to our elections. Senate Resolution 19 by Senator Beach of the 21st, Gooch of the 51st, Watson of the 1st, Miller of the 49th, Duggan of the 30th. Resolution creating the Georgia Commission on Freight and Logistics. Through second readers.
We have no committee reports today. This House will come to order. House will come to order. All right, we're about to go on to morning orders. Chair is going to ask that all members take their seats and give respect and attention to the members in the well. We have a number of members who have signed up for morning orders, and under the rules of the House, the chair will limit morning orders today to 1 minute each. But before we begin morning orders, I want you to help me welcome the newest member of the Georgia House of Representatives, Representative Matt Barton from District 5. If you have signed up for a morning order, your name will be called one time, and if you're not present, then we're going to move on to other business. Chair recognizes Chairman Benton for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is February the 12th. On this day in 1733,
Gentlemen will suspend. Let's see, it's been at least 40 seconds since I asked you to be seated and cease conversation if you're in the chamber, and the chair can't even hear the gentleman in the well. Now, I know we've all got important business here today, and we've got a lot of visitors and guests, and we're happy to have them, but when members go to the well on morning orders or they're here to do invite resolutions, they're entitled to a certain level of dignity, and they're going to have it. Gentlemen may proceed.
thank you, Mr. Speaker. On this day in 1733, the colony of Georgia was founded, so today is Georgia Day. On this day, the first colonists stepped off the boat on the banks of the Savannah River at a place called Yamacraw Bluff, later to be named Savannah. They were led by a man by the name of James Oglethorpe. The colony was named Georgia after King George II, and the colony was governed by a charter and by a group of trustees. There were 4 reasons for the colony. It was to become a home for debtors. It was to have trade, silk and wine. It was to be a defensive barrier for South Carolina and between South Carolina and Florida, and a home for persecuted European Protestants. Out of those 4 reasons, it was only successful in the defense barrier for South Carolina and a home for persecuted European Protestants. No debtors ever came to Georgia. 2 groups of people that were not allowed to come to Georgia in the beginning were slaves and Catholics. 2 occupations not allowed were liquor dealers and lawyers. I've run out of time, but can you imagine no lawyers, what life would be like? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now I've got to give somebody equal time to rebut that, so. Chair recognizes for a morning order Representative Stovall, and other members of the Clayton County delegation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, fellow members. Today we have joining with us members from the FCCLA organization, which teaches great leadership skills from Clayton County, from Babb Middle, Perry Learning Center, Jonesboro High School, Ambitious X Learning Center. Will you please stand to help us welcome our FCCLA students from Clayton County? I guess they hadn't made it in yet. All right, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the way.
Chair recognizes Representative Jasmine Clark for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, colleagues, and good morning. In honor of Black History Month, I wanted to highlight a Black historical figure in the sciences, since science is near and dear to my heart. I grappled with who to highlight, from Alice Ball, the young Black woman who helped develop the treatment for Hansen's disease, or what we know as leprosy, and right before she died at the tender age of 24 years old. Or Katherine Johnson, who you may know from the movie Hidden Figures, who was a NASA employee that developed calculations that were integral in the orbital mechanics for US manned space flights. However, after much thought, I decided to honor the immortal life of Henrietta Lacks. Henrietta Lacks, born Loretta Pleasant in 1920, is actually literally immortal. And what do I mean by that? Her cancerous cells that were harvested from her body in 1951 during a biopsy for cervical cancer at Johns Hopkins Hospital are still in use today in research laboratories. I myself, during my doctoral research at Emory University, used what is known as the HeLa cell line. This cell line has been used to research treatments for several debilitating diseases, including the polio vaccine. And while her immortalized cells have contributed to the advancement of science, it would be over 2 decades before her family would even know that her cells had been harvested and sold to laboratories all over the world, raising ethical concerns about the use of body parts without a patient's knowledge. Each year in the fall, in honor of Henrietta Lacks, Atlanta's own Morehouse School of Medicine holds a HeLa Women's Health Symposium. While her life was shortened by cancer, her life-saving cells have prolonged the lives of many. Today, I honor her life. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
I'm going to remind members of the 1-minute time limit. Chair recognizes Representative Carpenter for a morning order.
Thank you, Speaker. I look up high today and I notice that I've got some fine people from Dalton here today. My leadership Dalton crew, will you please stand up? Please stand up. Thank you for being here today.
Chair recognizes Chairman Chuck Martin for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I stand before you today to recognize our 4 research universities here in Georgia. Augusta University, with locations in Rome, Savannah, Brunswick, Albany, and a campus partnership in Athens, is the only state public health center with 10 colleges and schools, including the Medical College of Georgia, the Dental College, and the newly formed College of Computer and Cyber Sciences. Georgia Tech, the number 8 public university in the nation with more than 32,000 traditional and online students. Georgia Tech has conducted more than $892 million in research last year for government, industry, and other sponsors. The Advanced Tech Development Center has graduated 180 companies with a total revenue to Georgia of over $12 billion, creating 2,826 jobs. Georgia State University. The 7 campuses throughout Metro Atlanta, the university provides world-class faculty and 51,000 students, the number 2 innovative university in the U.S. And finally, my alma mater, the University of Georgia, with 37,000 graduate and undergraduate students, a $6.3 billion economic impact, the 13th ranked public university, and the number 1 ranked in the U.S. universities for driving products to market. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and help me recognize the 4 research universities from our great state of Georgia. They're in the gallery. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Mathis for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am pleased to be here today. I am to honor the FCCLA from Bleckley County. For you folks that are old as I am, that's the Home Economics Club. So that's what I want to do. I would like for Cheryl Parks and her group to stand, please. Can you give them a hand? And I'd also like to say happy birthday to Cochran, Georgia. Turns 150 this year. That's in Bleckley County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Holly for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For this minute, I'm going to use it to recognize, for Black History Month, one of our fellow members of the state elected body, the Honorable Henry McNeil Turner. History has counted that he is not only a bishop in the AME Church, newspaper publisher, U.S. Postmaster, and the founding member of the Georgia Republican Party, once himself a slave, expelled after being elected, but due to return with 32 other members to this body. May we remember from his lesson that, just like this city here, Atlanta, is the phoenix, and through the ashes of our tragic history, we can rise up and become better than we were before, to know better truths, and to make sure that, as it is true for the members alongside us in the aisles, the doorkeepers, even our folks back home, that we can look in them, in the other person who does not look like us, and be able to see in them God's own child, to make sure that the privileges we afford to ourselves here in this chamber are the same privileges we are affording to them. And with that, I yield the well to this House. Thank you, Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Howard for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If our Augusta delegation would join me for this next 55 seconds. We want to acknowledge a group of young people that have joined us today. All of them couldn't get in the gallery, but we do have a representation of them led by Mr. Morris Porter of the NAACP group out of Augusta. Stand for us. We want to welcome them to the cap. That's only a portion of them. All of them couldn't get in. It's about 35, 40 students, and we want to let them know we appreciate them coming.
Chair recognizes for a morning order Chairman Ron Stevens, Chairman Corbett, Representative Ridley, and Representative Saines.
I think we've got some more coming. Today is what is today?
The
Dyslexia Day. I'm having a moment. It's dyslexia, guys. As you might know, we've got a very large contingent here. It is Dyslexia Day. It is. Some of you may know Georgia is #1 in the U.S. for film. The internationally recognized Skank School is also here with all these folks from on this Dyslexia Day. Features a film that was made here in Georgia with stars Richard Branson and other famous actors. And the 5th grade is here along with all of these representations. And Ms. Hart, who also was in that production. Would you guys stand and so that we can all recognize you? Thank you. In the back row back here.
Chair recognizes Representative Al Williams for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise this morning to bring our attention to the fact that this is Founders Day for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP. It was in 1909 that it was formed, and I'm a very proud product of NAACP. My granddaddy was the very first card-carrying member in Liberty County in the 40s, and because of his inspiration, I joined in 1960 at the age of 13 and have been a life member for over 30 years. And I'm accompanied with my guest this morning is the president of Liberty County NAACP, a mentee of mine, that's Mr. Graylin Quarterman, who's sitting over there. This is a moment to remember, Founders Day for NAACP. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
Chair recognizes Chairman Hatchett, Chairman Pruitt, and Representative Mathis for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Chairman Pruitt, Representative Mathis, and I are excited to have a group of future leaders and leaders now from Lawrence County. Our Lawrence Youth Leadership is here today to visit and see how we do business. Y'all please stand and welcome the people from Lawrence Youth Leadership.
Chair recognizes Representative Cheokas for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am privileged today to have a group of future farmers of America in the gallery. I want to recognize these folks, and y'all stand up over there. John Hagan, who is a young farmer and the FFA advisor, and his wife, Mary Beth Hagan, who is the Young Farmer Secretary. We've got Faith Preston, who is the FFA President. Carolyn Funkhauser, Vice President. Rebecca Crowder, Secretary. Autumn Daniels, who is the Treasurer. Sarah Meggs, Reporter. And Lane Hudson is the Sentinel. I also want to bring to your attention that these young people are having a raffle. And the raffle is it costs $30 for one ticket and 4 for $100. And Chairman Terry England was the very first purchaser of a raffle ticket here at the House. And I would like, if y'all want to, if you're interested in the raffle, please stop by my desk. But please join me in welcoming my folks from Marion County. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Rick Jaspers for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When you're walking around the Capitol, you walk on these beautiful marble floors, and they come from the county that I'm from and the county where our leadership group from Pickens County is here today. Got up at 5 o'clock this morning to get here. If y'all will stand, we'll greet you, and we're glad you're here. Thank you.
The chair wants to invite you to come by and look at the tie that the clerk has on today. Today used to be a national holiday. because today's the birthday of Abraham Lincoln. And now President Lincoln and President Washington share President's Day with 40 some odd other people. But I want to commend the clerk for honoring President Lincoln. Now I tell you, there was a rhino if there ever was one. We're going on now to invite resolutions. House will be in order. House will be in order. Clerk will read the caption. The House Resolution 141.
House Resolution 141 by Representative Taylor of the 173rd, McCall of the 33rd, England of the 116th, LaHood of the 175th, Corbett of the 174th, and others. A resolution recognizing February 12, 2019 as Georgia Farm Bureau Federation Day at the state capitol and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Chairman Darlene Taylor for an invite resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A few years ago, President Eisenhower spoke about farming, saying, "Farming looks mighty easy when your plow is a pencil and you are 1,000 miles from the cornfield." Thank goodness we in Georgia know better. And we're here. We are the #1 place to do business, and ag is our #1 industry. Today, we're celebrating the Georgia Farm Bureau Day. It is a leader helping our ag stay at the top of the heap. Let us today welcome our Georgia Farm Bureau. With us today is Robert Fountain Jr., Daniel Johnson, Bernard Sims, and President Gerald Long, who's going to say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, thank you. Thank each one of y'all for declaring today Georgia Farm Bureau Day at the Capitol. I want to thank you, each one of you, for what you do to protect, promote, and manage Georgia. It's a great honor for me to be before you today. I am Gerald Long from Decatur County, President of Georgia Farm Bureau, a diversified farmer from Decatur County, and I'm sure a lot of y'all realize the devastation that we had on October the 10th of 2018. This was my 45th crop year. I witnessed the droughts of 77 and 80 and thought that was 2 tough years. Ladies and gentlemen, nothing compared to October the 10th of 2018. A lot of you've been down there, I'm sure, and seen the devastation. It has turned us upside down in southwest Georgia, no doubt about it. There's many, many houses that still has blue tarps on them waiting to be repaired. It'll be years and years for us to recover from this. But that afternoon, after the storm hit that night, the sun came out, we're still here. We're looking forward to put another crop in that the good Lord allows us. But I want to thank you for what y'all done, stepped up to the plate in November with a special session to provide the monies for the cleanup and for farmers. It is unbelievable, as I said, of the damage and the cleanup that's got to be done in the rural communities, that some of them I question will they'll ever recover. But with y'all's support and y'all's financial help, it has certainly made a difference. So I want to thank y'all for that. I also want to thank y'all for what you do up here each and every day. You know, us from South Georgia's not used to coming to the big city. And it's a jungle getting into this city early in the morning. There's no doubt about it. But I want to thank y'all for what you do every day, as I said earlier, that protects and pass laws to help us as Georgia residents. And in agriculture, as you well aware, is the largest business in Georgia to provide food, fiber, and fuel for Georgia and all over the world. I think that's very important. Also, I would like to invite each and every one of you at our luncheon at 12 o'clock at the depot. We would certainly be glad to have you with us to recognize y'all on our behalf. Again, Mr. Speaker, thank you for having us. Miss Chairwoman, thank you for what you do, okay? Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 66.
House Resolution 66 by Representative Corbett of the 174th, Saints of the 180th, Meeks of the 178th, LaHood of the 175th, and Watson of the 172nd. A resolution recognizing and commending Coach Jim Dickerson upon the grand occasion of his retirement and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Chairman John Corbett for an invite resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members of the House, it's an honor for me to introduce the 2018 Class A state football champions, the Clinch County Panthers. We have Coach Jim Dickerson on the floor with us today. He's got 4 of the team members here with him. I'll let him introduce them in a minute. But up in the gallery, we've got other members of the team. If they'll stand up and let's give them a hand. We've also got Superintendent Dr. Donna Ryan over here, Coach Jim Dickerson's wife, Christine, and his daughter, Christina. Good to have you all today. What this senior class has done is nothing short of amazing. Not only did they win the state championship this year, they've won it 3 out of the last 4 years. So it's a pretty amazing job. I'm going to ask Coach Jim Dickerson to come up and say a few words. But first, we've got a surprise for Coach Dickerson. On behalf of the General Assembly, we would like to present him with a resolution commending him on his retirement. He's retiring after 30 years of coaching. He's coached all 30 years at Clinch County. He's amassed just an amazing record. 15 years as the head coach. He's 152, 44, and 1. Won 5 state championships. There's only 5 other coaches in history that have won more state championships than Coach Dickerson. So not only does Coach Dickerson prepare his teams to be successful on the field, he teaches them to be successful in life. He encourages them to believe in themselves, pursue opportunities for personal growth, and to make a commitment for excellence. Members of the House, help me give Coach Jim Dickerson a round of applause and congratulate him on his successful career in retirement.
Thank you very much.
Let me sit by you.
What you want me to do?
Say a few words, introduce these team members here, and say a few words.
I certainly appreciate it. It's great to be recognized, and we certainly appreciate Mr. John, Mr. Speaker, for allowing us to be here. Couldn't be more proud to be here representing Clinch County, but our real representatives are our coaches and players. And right now I want to take just a second to introduce a couple of my seniors, Jonathan Moore, Tyler Moorhead, Miguel Davis, and William Thomas, and also have our superintendent and the rest of our players and coaches up in the gallery. But just want to take this time in front of all you dignitaries to say that we're very blessed, we're very proud of our schools in Clinch County, and very honored to be from the state of Georgia. God bless Georgia.
Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 112.
House Resolution 112 by Representative Lumsden of the 12th, Dempsey of the 13th, Scoggins of the 14th, Perkel of the 155th, and Kelly of the 16th. A resolution commending the Coosa High School girls volleyball team for winning the 2018 GHSA 2A/A State Volleyball Championship and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Chairman Eddie Lumsden for an invite resolution.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity. It's my pleasure to be here today to recognize the Coosa High School girls volleyball team, the Lady Eagles, for their state championship win in AA. They're just fine athletes. They're exceptional students, and these are ladies of character, and it's just my pleasure to present them to you here this morning. I have with me on stage the Coach Nick Hann and Coach Carson Lay, as well as the two team captains, Deborah Barker and Jordan Roberts. And in the gallery, we have the rest of the team. If you ladies would stand, please. And if you would join me in giving a hand to the Lady Eagles State AA champions. And I'm going to ask our head coach, Nick Hann, if he would come and say a word about these ladies.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this opportunity to come before you today. We are extremely honored and appreciative of Representative Lumsden for having us here today. I just want to share a little bit about our program with you. These young ladies have worked tremendously at becoming outstanding volleyball players, several are being recruited even on the D1 level. They have been the state runner-up in 2016, the state champions in 2017, and the state champions in 2018, all while winning 5 straight area championships. So these girls work extremely hard, but not just on the court, but they have also just been recognized as one of the top programs in the nation for academics as well, having an extremely high team GPA. So again, thank you so much for having us here today. We appreciate it.
Clerk will read the caption to House Resolution 154.
House Resolution 154 by Representatives Glanton of the 75th, Park of the 101st, Trammell of the 132nd, Peachtree of the 166th, Clark of the 98th, and others. A resolution recognizing and honoring February 12, 2019 as Korean American Day at the state capitol and for other purposes.
Chair recognizes Representative Mike Glanton for an invite resolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, good morning. My time in the military, part of my responsibility was equal opportunity advisor. And in that role, I was able to bring the different diverse cultures to play in the military to make sure that we recognize and honored each group in the military and for their diversity and their achievements and accomplishments. And so today, in that vein, we are celebrating today Korean American Day at the Capitol. So before I introduce the folks in the gallery, I want to tell you that you have some packages on your desk this morning, and I've been told, gentlemen, if you don't want those packages, to pass them on to some of the ladies that are here this morning. I'll let you determine that. But at this time, if you would, help me welcome to the People's House members of the Korean American community. Would you please stand this morning to be recognized?
Thank you. And so, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, the Counsel General for the Republic of Korea, Counsel General Kim.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable David Ralston, Representative Michael Linton, Representative Sam Park, and members of Georgia House of Representatives. It is a great honor for me to join this meaningful ceremony today. I'd like to convey my heartfelt appreciations to Georgia House of Representatives for celebrating Korean American Day together with the leaders of Korean community in Georgia. Since the arrival of the 102 pioneer Korean immigrants in Hawaii in 1903, the Korean community has developed as one of the leading ethnic groups in the United States. The Korean community in Georgia has grown so fast. Now, around 120,000 Korean Americans live in Metro Atlanta areas and contribute to the economic development and the cultural diversity of Georgia. Last year, we celebrated 50th anniversary of Korean immigration to Metro Atlanta. Korea and Georgia has enjoyed vibrant economic relations. Around 90 Korean companies, such as Kia Motors and Hyundai Heavy Industries, have invested around $8 billion, created more than 15,000 jobs in Georgia. Last month, SK Innovation signed an MOU with the Georgia state government to invest $1.6 billion in its battery factories in Jackson County. This is the largest single investment project in the history of Georgia and will create around 2,000 decent jobs. I believe that Korean investment in Georgia continues to grow and our bilateral relations will keep deepening and expanding. Finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to ask continued support for Korea-U.S. joint efforts toward the denuclearization and the permanent peace on the Korean Peninsula. As announced, the second North Korean summit will be held in Vietnam at the end of this month. I hope that this historic meeting will make more concrete progress toward denuclearization of North Korea with the strong support of Georgia House of Representatives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House.
Chair recognizes Representative Sam Park to introduce the Doctor of the Day.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning again, colleagues. It is my honor to introduce to you today's Doctor of the Day, Mickey Kim. Dr. Kim is an assistant professor of medicine at Emory University School of Medicine, and she's been practicing in Atlanta since 1996. At the age of 2, Dr. Kim and her family immigrated to the United States from Seoul, South Korea. Her father was a general surgeon in Macon, Georgia for 15 years, and Dr. Kim graduated from the Medical College of Georgia in 1993. She later completed her internal medicine residency at Emory University Hospitals in 1996. Today, Dr. Kim lives in Johns Creek and has 2 sons. One is attending Georgia State University, and the other is at the University of Georgia. Without further ado, Dr. Kim.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Speaker and representatives. My name is Dr. Mi-Kyung Kim. I'm an assistant professor of medicine at Emory University School of Medicine. I've been practicing here in Atlanta for over 20 years in internal medicine and primary care. I have a special love for primary preventive health. I often get asked, Doc, what can I do to improve my health? And the one advice I give consistently is exercise. Every day, human beings are meant for movement, but as we become more successful in life, we become sedentary. So I encourage you, walk 30 minutes daily. Keep moving forward. It is my honor and pleasure to be your doctor of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chair recognizes for a morning order Chairman Wes Cantrell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My guest got held up in the Senate, so I appreciate the Speaker. And a lot of us know what that feels like, right? To get held up in the Senate. So I appreciate the Speaker letting me do this a little bit late. I also wanted to thank Chairman McCall and the Young Farmers of America for providing us with a bottle of the real thing. That's all I'm going to say about that. Our guest this morning is in the balcony. Her name's Ashley Bratcher. Not only has agriculture been a great industry for our state, but the film industry has been a great industry for us as well. She's a budding movie star. She's starring in a new movie that's coming out March the 29th called Unplanned, where she plays the role of Abby Johnson. It's a true story of Abby Johnson's journey from being the Employee of the Year for Planned Parenthood to becoming a pro-life activist. And so let's all welcome to the House chamber today Miss Ashley Bratcher from Marietta, right in the back there. Thank you for being here. If you're interested in attending a free preview of the movie, if you'll see me afterwards, I'll be sure to connect you with one in your area. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Representative Cheokas for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My group got held up in traffic, unfortunately, not the Senate. But I've got a group from Marion County, the FCCLA, the Marion County Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. There's about 20 of them here in the gallery. And they brought their advisor, Megan Scott, and chaperone Linda Williams. Would Linda and Megan please stand up? And I just wanted to thank you for making the trek up from Marion County and coming to visit the state capitol. And thank you for what you do with the children. With that being said, go Eagles. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Clerk will read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions.
Recognizing February 20th, 2019 is After School Day at the State Capitol, recognizing South Fulton Chamber of Commerce on the grand occasion of its 72nd anniversary. Recognizing February 13th, 2019 is Clark Atlanta University Day at the State Capitol, recognizing and commending the Georgia Foreign Trade Zone, honoring the life and memory of Diana Preston. Recognizing February 13, 2019 is Public Library Day at the State Capitol, honoring the life and memory of Dr. Don Panos. Recognizing and commending Dr. Jill Purdy on her exemplary work and achievements in her work as a physician. Commending Omega Sci-Fi Fraternity and recognizing February 13, 2019 as Omega Sci-Fi Fraternity Incorporated Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing and commending the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, Georgia. Recognizing February 13, 2019 as National Wear Red Day. Recognizing and commending Dina Yowler. Commending Habersham County and recognizing February 20th, 2019 as Habersham County Day at the State Capitol. Recognizing Mr. Nakia Jermaine Jackson. Recognizing and commending Dr. Gloria Johnson Rogers. Honoring the life and memory of John Jack Floyd Clayton. Honoring the life and memory of commending the Albany Area Chamber of Commerce and recognizing February 20th, 2019 as Albany-Doherty County Day at the State Capitol, and for other purposes. That completes the reading of the privileged resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privileged resolutions? The chair hears none, and the resolutions are adopted. We're going on now to announcements. If you have signed up for an announcement, then be alert. Be alert. Chair recognizes Chairman Bill Hitchens for an announcement.
The Public Safety and Homeland Security Committee will meet today at 1 o'clock in CLOB 406.
Chair recognizes Representative Dickerson for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, the Women Legislative Caucus will meet upon adjournment or at noon. We will have lunch, and the Department of Public Health will be there to speak to us on infant and maternity mortality, which is a very important subject in Georgia. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the chair of the Minority Caucus, Chairman Beverly, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Georgia House Democratic Caucus will meet today at 1 p.m. in room 216 for a brief meeting. We will start at 1 p.m. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes the chair of the Majority Caucus, Chairman Hatchett, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Majority Caucus will meet today at noon in room 403. I know there's quite a few lunches around. We will have lunch. The meeting will actually start about 12:20, 403.
Chair recognizes Representative Cheokas for an announcement. He waves. Chair recognizes Representative Laricchia for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Georgia Pest Control Association does Sprayberry's barbecue every year. They couldn't find a room in the Capitol this year, so they're across the street in the CLOB. Immediately upon adjournment, just want to serve you some Sprayberry's barbecue. Tell you thank you for everything that you do. Hope you'll join them. Thank you so much.
Chair recognizes Chairman Smith, Richard Smith, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. A couple of announcements. Insurance will meet tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in room 606. And for those of y'all who have any interest in House Bill 198, it'll be before the Special Committee on Access to Quality Health Care from 4 until 5 in room 506, CLOB. It'll be a presentation only by the chairman. No, tomorrow. Tomorrow. All of this is tomorrow. Insurance at 8 tomorrow morning, and the Special Committee on Quality Health Care will be at 4 tomorrow, room 506.
Chair recognizes Representative Jeff Jones for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Administration Licensing Subcommittee of the Insurance Committee will meet in CLOB 415 today at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. 415. Administration and Licensing Subcommittee of Insurance. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Watson for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appropriations Subcommittee on General Government will meet in room 341 today at 3 o'clock. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Benton for an announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, the House Retirement Committee will meet today at 2 o'clock in room 515 in the CLOB. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Parsons for an announcement.
Thank you, Speaker Ralston. Energy, Utilities, and Telecommunications will meet today at 3 o'clock and 403 here in the Capitol. Should be a pretty short meeting, but it's an important meeting, so certainly want you to be there. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair recognizes Chairman Taylor for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Life and Health Subcommittee of the Insurance Committee will meet today at 4 p.m. in CLOB 606. We'll be hearing 2 bills. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Cooper for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Health and Human Services Committee will meet at 2 o'clock this afternoon in room 606. We have a full schedule, so I hope you be there and be on time. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Chairman Barr for an announcement.
Thank you, sir. Just wanted to remind everyone about the Legislative Fellowship tomorrow, 107 in the Governor's Conference Room downstairs. Just a time to share and get together and say a few prayers for the session. Appreciate y'all attending. It's been very, very encouraging so far. So just a reminder to you, Legislative Fellowship in the morning, 7:15. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the Chairman of the House Rules Committee, Chairman Jay Powell, for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Second Harvest of South Georgia is the second largest food bank organization in the state and serves approximately 30 counties in the South Georgia region. They are at the Capitol today, and they are packing disaster boxes in the rotunda between 1 and 5 this afternoon, and you are invited to come by and pack a box. It'll take about 5 minutes. But it'll be a good opportunity to see what our food banks do for our people in the state of Georgia and for you to participate. So anytime between 1 and 5 for 5 minutes, please come by. Thanks.
That completes our announcements. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader of the House for a motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand in recess until 4 p.m. today, and then stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Wednesday, February the 13th, 2019.
The Majority Leader has moved that this House be in recess until 4 o'clock p.m. today, whereupon we would then stand adjourned until 10 a.m. on Wednesday, February 13. All those in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed will say no. The ayes have it, and this House will be in recess until 4 o'clock p.m. Then we will be adjourned until Wednesday, February 13 at 10 a.m.